Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are diving into one of the most absolutely fascinating intersections of raw nature and human engineering. We're going to be breaking down the incredible geological realities that are actively shaping modern military strategies. No politics today, we're just here to understand the science, the massive scale, and the strategy behind it all.
So let's jump right into this incredibly provocative question. How on earth do you strike a military base that's buried 500 meters inside solid granite? I mean, it literally sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? But this is actually the ultimate real-world standoff between modern weaponry and ancient geology. And to really wrap our heads around why this is such a massive headache for military planners all over the globe, we have to start by looking at the Earth itself.
Section 1. Iran's extreme underground geology. To understand these impenetrable bases, we really need to understand the extreme natural landscape of Iran first. To grasp just how unimaginably deep and hostile the Zagros Mountains can be, let's look at Perak Cave. It's a staggering 752 meters deep. It's located high up in the beautiful but incredibly rugged Zagros Mountains at an altitude of over 3,000 meters. We're using this cave as our baseline today because it perfectly shows the sheer scale of the rock formations in this region. You know, we're not just talking about digging through packed dirt here. This is a massive, unforgiving labyrinth of ancient stone. And it is just wild to think about the sheer difficulty of navigating this terrain. Back in 1971, this cave was actually known as the Everest of Caves. A British team made it down 751 meters, but they were completely stopped by a mud pond, and then decades went by. A local attempt in 1989 was entirely thwarted by flooding. It wasn't until 1991 that Iranian cavers finally and successfully explored the whole thing. This decades-long struggle really sets the stage for us. It proves exactly what it takes for humans just to explore this environment, let alone try to excavate it and build massive military installations. Because, let's be honest, this environment is naturally hostile to any kind of human engineering. Anyone going underground here is facing temperatures hovering just above freezing. We're talking 1 to 3 degrees Celsius. You've got jagged, porous walls that will literally tear your clothing, these incredibly narrow crab paths, and freezing water constantly seeping through the rock. But, and here is the really fascinating twist, these exact same terrifying natural defenses make this geology absolutely perfect to be used as an impenetrable shield. Section 2. Subterranean missile cities. So now we transition from these natural geological wonders to how this exact geology has been weaponized by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard to create what are essentially underground missile cities.
Take the Yazd base, for example. This is a fully functioning underground city, not just some simple concrete bunker. Intelligence reports show this base is carved directly into Shirkuh granite. That's rock formed 300 million years ago, which is, way before mammals even existed on Earth. And inside, it's highly sophisticated. We are talking about automated rail systems running through the tunnels, dedicated missile assembly areas, and massive blast-resistant doors. They even use decoy entrances up on the surface just to confuse satellite tracking.
And the craziest part, this strategy of hiding inside the mountain actually works. Despite thousands of airstrikes over the course of various recent conflicts, U.S. intelligence estimates actually show that about half of Iran's launchers remain completely intact. While surface bases and open-air launchers are incredibly vulnerable, the equipment that's shielded by hundreds of meters of ancient Earth is just exceptionally well protected. Even when the surface entrances take a direct hit, that geological shield does exactly what it's supposed to do. Recent assessments indicate that while 77% of visible tunnel entrances were hit during recent escalations, the operations inside, they barely skipped a beat. Construction equipment rolled up within days, the debris was cleared out, and the launch systems, which, remember, are moving around on those underground automated rails, just resumed operations almost immediately.
Section 3. The Pickaxe Mountain Project. This brings us to a highly sensitive and deeply buried site near Natanz, one that recently caught the intense attention of U.S. President Donald Trump and international observers.
Officially, it's known as Kuh-e Kolangazla, or Pickaxe Mountain, and it represents the next major evolution in underground fortification. It's an under-construction, secret nuclear site to survive airstrikes, located right near the main Natanz facility. And why go through the trouble of building it? Well, it was built precisely because previous above-ground facilities, like their centrifuge manufacturing sites, were heavily damaged or destroyed during earlier conflicts and sabotage operations.
Let's really break down what is housed inside this heavily guarded complex. Because this isn't just a small hideout, it is a sprawling 2.7 square kilometer facility. Above ground, it is heavily protected by paramilitary forces, massive fencing, and anti-aircraft batteries. And below ground? Well, experts believe the intention is to use the facility for both uranium enrichment and for manufacturing the centrifuges themselves. By putting all of this deep inside a mountain, the idea is that operations could theoretically just keep running, even during a full-scale war.
And depth is absolutely the key factor here. Analysts using satellite imagery estimate the Pickaxe Mountain site is buried anywhere from 80 to 100 meters underground. But here's the kicker. Continuous excavation has been observed since those estimates were initially made. So that means the site could be even deeper today. And since international atomic inspectors have never been granted access, its exact layout remains a heavily, heavily guarded secret.
Section 4. Bunker busters versus geology. This whole situation sets up the ultimate standoff. Can the most advanced bombs in the world penetrate millions of years of rock?
This is the incredible geopolitical dilemma that military strategists are facing right now. Think about it. You have America's most powerful bunker buster bomb, the GBU-57 Massive Ordnance Penetrator. It's an absolute marvel of modern engineering, but its maximum penetration depth through Earth maxes out at about 60 meters. But then you have bases like Yazd sitting at an estimated 500 meters deep in solid, energy-absorbing granite. The math simply does not favor the bomb.
So, to counter this extreme depth, U.S. officials have actually discussed a sequential strategy. Step 1 would be dropping the first massive GBU-57 bomb, just to blast a deep surface crater. Then, Step 2 involves dropping a second bomb directly into that exact same crater to penetrate even deeper into the mountain. But honestly, even with this tandem approach, hitting a target hundreds of meters down in solid granite is just incredibly difficult. Success is far from guaranteed, mainly because the granite naturally absorbs and completely disperses the explosive energy.
Which brings us to a really powerful quote from defense analyst Shinaka and Selene Pereira that I think perfectly summarizes this entire situation. He notes, "The geology is the defense, and the geology has been there for 300 million years. It's so true, right? The rock doesn't care how many planes fly overhead. The missiles inside are totally replaceable, but the granite shielding them, that's permanent."
So, I want to leave you with this final thought to ponder as we wrap up this explainer. When ancient stone defeats modern weaponry, how will the future of global conflict change? I mean, if superpowers literally cannot reach their targets with traditional air power, we might be looking at a total shift in how nations approach warfare, deterrence, and diplomacy. Thank you so much for joining me to explore the true power of the Earth as a shield. Keep asking questions, and I'll see you in the next explainer.